Do you ever notice when someone is walking and they have one hip that hikes up as they land? In this video, we're going to talk about why that happens and some things that we can do in order to overcome those. Hi, I'm Effer, founder of Resilient Training Rehab, and I've helped thousands of coaches and clinicians get faster and more consistent results with their clients. Let's get into it. Before we get into some of the compensations and why this happens, let's talk about the basic mechanics of gait. So there's three different phases. We have heel strike when our heel hits the ground. There is mid stance when now our full foot is flat on the ground. And then there's toe off where the heel lifts up. Each one of these phases has different biomechanical things that happen at the foot, knee, hip, and all the way up the chain. Understanding these are going to allow us to understand why compensations happen. So during the mid stance phase, where my pelvis is stacked over top of my foot and I'm about to start to push off, this is when we start to internally rotate the hip. A lot of times when people can't do that, this is when you start to see the hip hike up. This is what they call a Trendelenburg test. Essentially, when you're looking at someone from the back and they take a step and they're loading on top of that foot and you see that hip hike up, this is when you start to see a limitation in internal rotation. What ends up by happening is as these people take a step forward, because they don't have the internal rotation or the pronation of the foot, they start to hike their hip up, because otherwise they're going to fall on the outside of the ankle, because as one side pushes off, we have to catch onto the other side. And if we shift too much, then we're going to have to hike our hip to come back into the middle. So you start to see the hip hike up, the knee cave in, and the foot dump in all at the same time in order to counteract that. And so this compensation has to do with, and the lack of the ability to stay within our base of support. And so what we need to be thinking about is, how do we restore internal rotation from the foot all the way up? And how are we able to not only accept force or land, but also produce force without hiking up our hip? So we're going to talk about three different exercises that are going to help overcome each one of these. Okay, so in order to reverse engineer this, we need to start by understanding what each individual structure does from the hip, knee, as well as foot in order to rebuild this gait. So what I like to do is start at the pelvis. If we could start to internally rotate the pelvis by starting to put it into a better position, we're gonna then have the knee and the foot line up underneath it. So what we're gonna do is an exercise like I like to call a foot-supported walkover. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the foam roller, we're gonna put it underneath our hip. Now I've done variations of exercise like this in previous posts as well as in my programs, but this one where we're having our foot connected into the box or the wall is gonna help make sure that what I'm doing at the hip translates down towards the foot. So how we're gonna set up is we're gonna take the foam roller and we're gonna put it underneath the hip. So think of where your belt line is. I'm then gonna take my right foot in this case, and this is for somebody who hikes up on the right side. I'm gonna take my right foot and put it on the wall. I'm gonna have my right knee connected into the ground. Now I'm not expecting you to get the outside part of the knee. It's more the outside part of the thigh onto the wall, onto the ground. So I want outside knee as well as the inside part of the foot. That's gonna allow for that internal rotation to happen. And then I've got the foam roller around my TFL area. I'm then going to open up this back leg and I'm gonna take a big breath in. As I breathe out, I'm gonna bring this leg over and try to bring the knee down on the ground. Now, an important thing is as I bring this leg up, I don't want this foot to roll open. If I'm doing that, then I'm not actually getting the motion that I'm wanting to get. So instead, I'm locking down that inside foot, locking down the outside knee, and then I'm rolling over. So I get that internal rotation of the hip. Take a big breath in. Breathe out as I push off my knee and my foot to come back. So I'm pushing off this leg to come back. Breathing in. Breathe out as I roll back. Breathe in. Breathe out as I come back. This is gonna, again, reinforce that pelvic position so it's not hiking as much as I take a step. So the next exercise, we're gonna now stand up and we're going to start to integrate the foot, knee, and hip together. But what I'm gonna do is have more of a supported position and elevate the heel. Now, what the banded supported position is going to do, it's going to unweight this leg. What happens when people do that Trendelenburg or they hike their hip up, cave their knee in, as well as collapse their foot, is as they're doing it, what naturally happens is when they take a step forward, it's like everything slams forward too fast. They don't have that ability to control the gait. So what we can do is unweight them or decelerate their body weight. The more gravity that I put onto my body, the more my body's going to try to accelerate forward. So I can unweight myself by holding onto a band. So as I go down, it's like it's pulling onto the band, which is making that foot lighter so I don't have to use as much tension in the leg in order to do that. Additionally, by having the heel elevation, I'm going to be opening up the front part of my ankle. So again, now my foot is starting, or my knee is starting behind my foot, which then allows me to travel through, again, controlling that range of motion. So I'm just slowing down the shin. So I'm going to have the elbows in front. I'm going to pull the band down slightly, and then I'm going to drive the knee forward. But when I drive the knee forward, I'm not tucking under like this. I'm making sure that the hip is open as I'm going up and down. So I'm pulling onto the band, and then I'm just going to go up and down as I perform that movement. And what you should feel is some glute, some hamstring, some quad, but you should feel that your weight isn't so much on your toes because the band is helping you stay over top of the heel. So next exercise is going to be the Jefferson split squat. I really like this exercise for two reasons. One, because of where the bar is, you're not able to go up as high. Also, by having the weight underneath your legs, it's really forcing you into that hingy split squat position. This is really going to force you to produce force from your foot all the way up to your hip. So now I've got my hip lined up. I've integrated it with my knee and my foot. Now I'm teaching my foot how to produce force without compensating. And what you see what I'm doing is I have a mixed grip. So I got my right hand down, my left palm open. This is going to further rotate me towards the left side. So it's going to teach me again how to push off that right leg more effectively. So what we need to be thinking about is how can we position the pelvis? How can we then teach the body to accept force and put weight through the foot, knee, and hip? And then how can we create an exercise where we are producing force, extending the hip, and creating this overcoming action so that we can maintain that stability from the foot, knee, and hip. If you want to understand how to assess gait, how to identify more compensations that we talked about in this video, and then exercises in order to improve it, then check out my new gait assessment course where we break down the 3 major common compensations that I see when I'm assessing gait, as well as what I would do in order to address it. In this video, we talked about a common compensation that I see when analyzing gait, that being the Trendelenburg when the hip is hiking, because we're lacking internal rotation during the mid-stance phase of gait. We also talked about 3 different exercises in order to rebuild that stance based on the biomechanics that happened during that mid-stance. If you enjoyed this video, you want to see more of it, don't forget to like, save, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.